Hey guys, it's Rachel. I hope you've all had a really great Christmas. Mine was spent at home with my family, obviously with my brother and my girlfriend came up, and she brought Louie Boy, the dog, because unfortunately no one could look after him. But it was actually a real blessing that he came to stay with us, so that was really lovely. I know this time of year can be a very difficult time of year for many of you, and I really hope that you've been able to find maybe even just a small moment of joy and kind of appreciation, and that you've been able to use some of the time productively, constructively, and it's not been too isolating. So I just kind of wanted to reassure you, and something that I've been doing within my group is just kind of saying, okay, difficult things happen, and whilst I'm not somebody who says you should sit in denial, my thoughts were kind of just trying to think of one moment, even if it's just one moment or a couple of moments where you actually felt some joy, some happiness. A lot of people have said that when they gave their friends and family their video, sorry, that's because I'm making video, when they gave them their gifts, that was a moment where they felt incredibly positive and very joyful. And even if that was just for a short moment, that is something that they felt was something that gave them some pleasure over this period. Obviously, the food side of things can be very challenging with Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and if you have friends and family over, there can often be a lot of food around. So I guess all I'm just hoping is that some of you have somehow made it through, and it might not have been the best way through, but you know, we're kind of through that part now, and I guess the next focus is on the new year, and that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit in this video. The downtime from Christmas time to New Year can be very, very difficult as well, and whilst there's a lot of anxiety around that period during Christmas, there is sort of an anticlimax when we get to say kind of, well, we had Christmas, didn't we, on Sunday, Boxing Day Monday, so I came back down to London on Tuesday, and I think this kind of period from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday can be quite difficult because it's kind of a wavering. Christmas is kind of over in many senses. I certainly don't feel the need to have the Christmas tree still around. I mean, it's still up here, and it'll be my mum probably has taken ours down at home, and it can be a period where we don't quite know where we're at really, and there can be a lack of structure again. I know my brother went back to work for a few days, and I think that's normal to kind of feel unsure about where you're at. So if you're in that position too, especially, you know, if you're studying or you've got days off from work, it can feel kind of quite weird to have time to yourself or time to be with friends and family. If you are having time off, really hope that some of that time has been for yourself. As I advised in my Christmas video, one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give is to be able to not feel guilty about having time for yourself. So if you are around at your parents or family or girlfriends, boyfriends, husband, doesn't, wherever you are, that you allow yourself that time out. So if you're at your house, that you just say, I'm just going to go and spend a bit of time upstairs. If it begins to cause conflict, go ahead, do what you feel you need to do. If you are at somebody else's or staying somewhere else, maybe go to the room there, or to say I'm just going to go for a walk, just to have done things that give you the time and the space to just breathe really, because even for myself it's quite an overwhelming time. I mean, I was given so many gifts that some of them I didn't even notice I had, because I was just taking everything in. I get so much pleasure out of giving gifts to other people. To move this on to the new year, the new year again might be about meals and food and parties and socialising, and I guess in a lot of the ways that Christmas can be overwhelming, the period of New Year can be very overwhelming. And I guess there's two aspects to New Year feeling overwhelming. The one is, like I said, that's similar to Christmas time and the socialising and the food and all of that type of stuff. And the second aspect, which I was thinking about, is to do with it being a new year. and the implications of going into a new year and how difficult that can be. So first of all, when we're thinking about parties again, my advice would be the same. You don't have to do something on New Year's Eve. You don't have to go out and spend a fortune on getting in somewhere, spend a fortune getting drunk because that's what everybody else is doing, spend a fortune on just doing something just because it's New Year. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do for New Year. I'm down in London, so that is either going to involve maybe going somewhere quiet, maybe going into London and being with the girl, just doing something that feels okay on the day or feels okay on the evening. So if you do have plans to go out, try to plan that yourself and try to think about the ways in which that can be done healthily, that can be done in a way that isn't self-destructive. A lot of people get very, very drunk and things happen. I also know that some people, they might have memories of last New Year and going into 2011 and that being very difficult, and New Year actually not bringing them anything more different than they thought they could have. So it's the same sort of advice that for Christmas, that you don't have to drink, you don't have to do all of these things, that you can actually say no to people. You can just go somewhere for a short period of time. If somebody's having something like a house party or they've invited you out for drinks somewhere, you only have to go for an hour if that's what you feel manageable doing. As for going into a new year, again, very overwhelming. A lot of people start the whole, right, 2012, this is going to be this is going to be that, and it's like, you might have done that for going into 2011 and you're still sat in the same place as you were then. I was determined to make 2011 my year, and that came from a number of different things because of some stuff that went on in 2010. And I really focused on myself. I focused on my continuing recovery. I focused on being out of therapy. I've spent the whole year not in therapy. I have worked on my independence. I've worked on completing my postgraduate, worked on finding work, which I'm going to hopefully be doing in the new year. And it's been a period of growth and of achievement. And that came from actually not putting pressure on myself. I think that actually came from just feeling really determined to do the things I needed to get done this year, do the things that I needed to do to keep me moving forward. And I did that with a degree of pressure on myself, but we also did that by just doing it. And sometimes we can overthink stuff. We can think, right, I want to do this, that and the other, and rather than doing it, we just freak about how overwhelming it is. So with regards to an eating disorder, you might be thinking, right, this year I want to change things, but you might build that up so much that you end up just freaking out. So the easiest thing for you to do is to think, right, each day I'm gonna try and do something that's positive for myself. That doesn't have to be changing a behaviour. I say this to the girls in the group all the time, that whilst I want their behaviours to change and I want them to be safe, moving forward, recovery is also about doing positive things for yourself. I'm going to use an example of one of the girls in the group who uses her photography. She uses her photography in a very positive way, and I feel that itself is helping her stay in a place whereby she might not be able to change her behaviours at present, but she's enabled to engage in something outside of herself, something outside of her illness. Other people are doing art projects that take them outside themselves, which are not about the isolation of an eating disorder. So when it comes to doing new things in the new year, I think it is good to kind of say, do you know what, I'd like to pick up this or I'd like to pick up that. And that can be anything. I'd quite like to go to a photography class, and will I do it? I don't know. It depends how things go, but it's an idea. It's just something there. So maybe that's what you need to do. Just have some ideas. Don't have like New Year's resolutions. Have ideas about what you potentially could do next year. And remember, it's a whole year. It's a whole year. So there's a lot ahead of you, and you just need to take it step by step. And when it comes to, and I guess I have to mention this because it's to do with eating disorders, all this pressure to diet is just, I mean, the adverts started on Tuesday, so we had Boxing Day on Monday, and by Tuesday I was seeing adverts on television. And I don't know what to say other than to just go, seriously, when you see them, walk out the room, go make a cup of tea. I don't care what you do, put the TV on mute. Doesn't mean you don't have to watch television. Maybe don't buy the magazines this time of year, because they are all to do with that. If you're buying the decent magazines, maybe not. And certainly the trashy magazines are going to be about the focus to lose weight and get back to whatever size, and it's going to be this whole massive getting your bikini body and all that crap. So what I'd say is to just, yeah, like I said, walk out the room, go make a cup of tea, put TV on mute, fast forward through the adverts if you have Sky Plus or Virgin Plus, and just try not to take that in. You've got enough for yourself, and that's enough. So I hope you managed to get into the new year okay, guys. I'm excited for it to be 2012. It's kind of scary, kind of overwhelming, but like I'm saying to all you guys, it's about breathing and just getting through it. And I'm sure you will hear from me next week, and I hope you all manage okay. And Merry Christmas, and I hope you all a Happy New Year. Okay, bye.